Ever wondered which state is considered the least visually appealing in America? It's a curious question, isn't it? A recent study set out to determine this, factoring in elements like percentage of parkland, environmental scores, and even waste management. Hold on to your seats as we dive into the intriguing study that sought to answer this question. This unique study took into account 4 primary factors to determine the ugly score for each state. First off, we have parkland percentage. The more parkland a state has, the more visually appealing it is. Think lush green spaces, serene parks, and nature reserves. They all contribute to the overall aesthetics of a state. Next up is green scores. This measures how environmentally friendly a state is. How well does it manage its resources? How sustainable are its practices? A higher green score means a lower ugly score. Then we have landfill presence. It's simple. The more landfills a state has, the higher its ugly score. Nobody wants to live next to a dump, right? Lastly, we have trash production per capita. This is all about how much waste each person in the state produces. The more waste, the higher the ugly score. All these factors together provide a comprehensive picture of a state's aesthetic appeal. With this comprehensive approach, the study successfully ranked each state based on its visual appeal or lack thereof. So which state had the lowest ugly score, deeming it the least visually appealing? The answer might surprise you, but remember, the score isn't about the people or culture, but rather environmental and waste management factors. The state with the dubious honor of the lowest ugly score had a noticeable lack of parkland, high trash production, and an unfortunate abundance of landfill coverage. These factors significantly decreased its aesthetic appeal. It's interesting how these environmental and waste management factors can significantly impact our perception of a place's beauty, isn't it? As we wrap up, let's remind ourselves of the state with the lowest ugly score. We've journeyed through an analysis that considered parkland percentage, green scores, landfill presence, and trash production per capita to determine each state's ugly score. We've seen how states with lower parkland coverage, higher landfill presence, and greater trash production were deemed less visually appealing. But let's not forget, this is just one measure of beauty. Remember, beauty is subjective, and one study's ugly score might be another person's paradise. So go out there and explore for yourself. Now let's shift gears and reveal the top 5 states with the highest ugly scores. Before we dive in, remember that these scores are based on environmental and waste management factors, not the people or the culture. Starting at number 5, we have Pennsylvania with an ugly score of 92.05. Despite its notable landmarks, it seems its environmental factors have brought its score up. Coming in at number 4 is Maryland with an ugly score of 95.57. Despite its charm, the state's landfill presence and trash production per capita have contributed to this score. Taking the 3rd spot is Indiana with an ugly score of 97.08. The state's parkland coverage could use an upgrade to lower this score. The runner-up at number 2 is Delaware with an ugly score of 98.61. While it may need to work on its green initiatives, there's still plenty to love about this state. And the state with the highest ugly score is Rhode Island with a grand score of 99.07. This score reflects its environmental shortcomings, but remember, this doesn't make it any less worth exploring. Remember, beauty is indeed subjective, and these scores are based purely on environmental factors. So don't let this list deter you from exploring these states and finding your own definition of beauty. Until next time, keep dreaming, keep exploring.